All right, late to the party as usual. So there's some epic clouds. I don't know if you can see them. All of that stuff. You know, with every other aspect of my life, I'm like super punctual. But when it comes to sunset photography, not so much. I need to hurry up and get this set up because these clouds are looking absolutely amazing. And there's like fog. You can't see it, it's overexposed. I can't fix it. I'll show you in a second. Let me get set up. I'm also gonna do a quick review of this guy. It's impromptu. I don't have enough hands, and camera lady's not here today to film, and I need all of the tripods. All right, this is getting ridiculous. I'll see you in a second. Hold on. All right, yeah, that business. You still can't see it very well. It's epic, and I'm, as usual, rushing. I can't use this tripod until I talk about it. I didn't think that through at all. All right, let's see. I'm gonna have to use, let's see, there's no wind, so I'm gonna use my little backpacker tripod here. Maybe put the 70 to 200 on it. A lot of people don't like raising up center columns. You lose a lot of stability, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, that's gonna have to work. So we've got, I don't know if this is my R6 or my R5. R6, 70 to 200. And we're just gonna point it right at those there epic mountains. And hopefully we can get this stable. It's the other best thing about this 70 to 200, the RF F4. It's so ridiculously light, it's just not even funny. All right, manual focus, lock it down. All right, wow. First things first about this thing, it's tough. I have beat the crap out of this thing. So this is the Colorado tripod company, Centennial tripod, and I've got the Aspen Ballhead on there. I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. But let's just talk about the legs for a minute. For the price, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. This is probably my favorite tripod out there. I've had this for probably about a year or so. It has a few quirks, a few things that maybe I wish were different or better or changed. Sorry, I'm just like distracted by all these clouds. So first thing first, carbon fiber. This thing can hold a lot of weight, and for that it's super strong, and it's really light for that class, being able to hold that much weight. This is like, it's under 4 pounds, I think, with the head too. So that's a big deal for me, being able to still hike relatively long hikes with this and not have it be weighing me down too much is super nice. So the construction on this is mostly like, it's really great. It's nice and solid. I love the clicky bits. I love that. So that you can do that, you know? And another thing that I love is, well, one thing I don't like is it's not very tall, but you know, this is still being marketed as a travel tripod. So that being said, I do find myself having to use this center column a lot because that's how tall it is. I'm 6'1", so this comes up to my chin. And that's with this extended. So a lot of times even that is not tall enough for what I need. But I make do. I don't complain because I know what it is. You know, it's a travel tripod. I understand that. It's not going to be as big as some of those really right stuff for FLM or, you know, just full-sized expensive tripods. Preferably you'd want to leave it down if you could, but there's just so many times where I need it up and over something, you know, or just at my height. And I struggle with the height there, but other than that, I love the construction. Like I said, the carbon fiber makes a huge difference. I don't know if you can see, but I have like beat the living crap out of this thing. There are so many scratches, and I'm not kind to my guy. I just throw this in the back of my car with everything else, and it just beats around and hits all this other metal stuff. And I've dropped it a ton of times, and it's held up really great. About the legs, so it's got these guys. They're nice and large for easy opening and closing. And the nice thing about having the big rubber grips here is that, like, if you have gloves on, normally I'm not in places, at least I live here in New Mexico, and it doesn't, in southern New Mexico where I live, it doesn't usually warrant gloves. But when I travel, and I do go to colder places, or if randomly gets cold here like today, then, you know, having these big grips for easy access, you know, easy maneuverability with gloves is great. One issue though that people have, and I know other people have talked about this, like Nick Page mentioned it when he was talking about it, but the rubber grips, the downside is that they're only on there with glue and they're rubber, and they probably aren't gonna last. I mean, I say that I've had this tripod for over a year and they're absolutely fine. Like in Nick's case, if you don't know Nick Page, he's an amazing photographer and YouTuber. He lives in the PNW though. He lives on the coast, and he does a lot of water stuff. I'm the opposite. I live in the desert and I don't do a lot of water stuff. In fact, I don't even recall what water looks like most of the time. But his major complaint is that over time, the salt water, especially because salt water is super corrosive, will break down these rubber and they'll come off. And I think they did that with his actually, but with mine over a year of use, I have had this in salt water. I have been to the ocean one or two times in the last year or so. And, you know, I do stick this thing in rivers and lakes and, you know, the little water that I can find. I haven't had any issue with it, but again, mostly that's fresh water. My issue with these would be the opposite of Nick's, but it's still an issue, and that would be like constant exposure to dust and sand getting in there, and high heat. So I'm often out in triple digit scenarios, and just I'm often around a lot of dust, and rubber in high heat, high sun, you know, doesn't last that long. So, but again, I've had this for a year. There are no issues of this being any problems yet. I just want to throw those out there to you for the heck of it, you know, because I do think that overall maybe something better than rubber, like even the traditional metal ones, might possibly be a better option for like super long term. Let's talk about the feet. So we do have spiky bits, and those are very nice, especially for desert, rocky, sandy, you know, areas. I'm often on the side of mountains, and being able to put this thing in weird angles and then really jab it in the ground and make it nice and sturdy. It does have the rubber feet. I don't know where they are. They're probably in my bag. They screw on, and they don't always stay on. I've lost them a lot. Like, but I said I throw this in the back of my car and it just bounces around with everything, rubs against stuff, and they just get loose, you know, and they slip off. But that's not a huge deal. They're on there if you're not out on crazy places and you want to do some more city stuff or some stuff that's not super rugged. Then the rubber feet are great, and they're oversized rubber feet, and they still have a great grip. If you're on like granite surfaces or sandstone surfaces or something like big rock surfaces, those rubber feet are really great. And the spikes are medium. They're not the most robust things in the world. They're kind of a middle, but they're not so flimsy that they won't do anything. It does look like you can change these out, and there is a rubber gasket on there around the edge of the spikes, so that's cool. Leg articulation, I love it. Like I said, I love this bit here. So, oh, you know what? Hold that. Let me switch time lapses. I've got a lot of cool stuff going on in this direction. got that going over there towards those cool mountains. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff going on right now. It looks like all that cloudy stuff is moving that way and not this way. All right, let's get back to this. So leg articulation, really great. I love the little clippy things there. They make moving it to, you know, the wider position super great. The downside is with this being wider, if you want them all out like this, because of the center column, you're going to have issues. Like that's too much there. So you have to raise the center column to get that all the way out. You can though, the other thing that's nice that at least they do this, they give you the option of you can remove the larger part of the center column. Ooh, ha, with reflexes like a mongoose. So you can take this whole thing out and then just stick this bit in, and you'll just have that little nub in there. So that's, at least they thought about that, and that's very nice because that gives you a lot more stability and the ability to go lower if you want those low ground shots. So there's that. They've got the nice oversized ring right here that's really easy to twist. So I like that. And it stays really tight. You can put a lot of twist on that and it stays really tight. So I haven't had any issues with that. Even when I do have the center column up, when I put it up, it'll stay. And the only kind of movement I'm going to get is just the flex from the wind or whatever. But I mean, this carbon fiber pole is pretty solid. I've been able to put the 1-500 with the R5 on here and extend it and get relatively decent long exposures with no issues. Let's talk about the ball head. So this comes with, I think you could get it regular with nothing, or you can get it with their regular ball head. I forgot, their regular ball head's at home. I have it somewhere. It's great for the price, especially for if you get the combo. It's a great deal. The regular ball head that they make is super strong and I love it. I love the way it's made, but I like this head even more. This is their Aspen ball head, and I think it's a bit more expensive, but man, was this worth it. I love this design of this giant ball here, and they've drilled the holes in it so that it's lighter. And if you just twist this, you can move this all around and you can basically get any orientation you want. Another great thing about this versus the regular ball head is if I want to go to a vertical, I can go to a straight vertical position without having, in anywhere on the ball, without having to, like the traditional ball heads, lock it into that one groove that, you know, falls over. And you can even go a little bit past vertical. So I love that. And I mean, this big knob, this thing can hold it holds a lot of strength when you're twisting it down. It can hold I can hold a lot on this vertical. I do that a lot for astro and long exposures and, you know, stuff like that. And I can hold an R5 with my 70-200, or I mean any of my lenses. I can hold that in the vertical, and that was nice. So I've actually taken my L brackets off because with this I don't ever use them anymore. It's just easier to have this on, and it's less weight for my camera and everything. So with the L brackets off, I can have my Peak Design clip, and I love these because I have the shoulder straps. You guys have probably seen a lot of my vlogs and stuff where I'm hiking and I just have it clipped in. But the Peak Design works great with any of these, and it works with all of my tripods. So that's nice. The other nice thing, I'll try to set this down without dropping shit this time. Let's talk about this quick release plate. I love it. So sometimes with these quick release plates, I've heard horror stories of, you know, this thing like snapping off and people have like lost their cameras coming off. But I've had these quick release plates for a couple of years now, since Colorado Tripod has been doing them for quite a while, and I absolutely love them. I've never had any issues, and they have the tensioner right here that you can turn to deal with different manufacturer Arca Swiss plates, because they're all Arca Swiss, they're all compatible, but some of them are just a little off. So having that tension there and being able to control for each different type of plate is just absolutely phenomenal. Like, I love it. So all of that, and then you've got your little friction knob here. So this knob will control the friction for how loose or tight this turns. And then you've got the little guy right here, which will allow you to rotate it around this way. So this thing has been great for doing panos and stuff like that. I've had a lot of just nothing but good come out of this Aspen ball head, and I've put the ball head at various times on different tripods, and it's always worked out great. So I mean, it's just a standard, you know, it'll fit on anything. It's a standard, what is it, 3/8 or whatever, the big one, you know, that, and it'll fit on anything. I've been really happy with that, and overall I've been really happy with this whole tripod setup for doing, if you guys follow my channel, then you'll know I do a lot of time lapses, and if you're new here and you're watching this review, thanks for sticking around. I do a lot of time lapses, do a lot of landscape stuff, wildlife stuff, things where I need tripods for a really long time, and this holds up. You know, this is my go-to tripod for travel stuff. That's just the perfect size and weight compromise for not being so beefy that I can't do anything with it, but for being strong enough and thick enough that it can hold some of these bigger things, and know that I'm going to get a steady time lapse out of it, or I'm going to get a steady astro shot out of it. And that's just been wonderful. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up here, and I think I'm finishing up this day to night time lapse. Looks kind of nice. So if you guys have any questions on the Colorado tripod, the Centennial, any of the features, I definitely like the hook right there, so that, you know, you can hang your bag on. Absolutely wonderful. Give that extra stability. But if you guys have any questions about any of the features that I missed or that I went over, just let me know. Put those in the comments below, and I will definitely answer them. Hopefully that gave you a good idea of some of the ups and downs, the pros and cons of this tripod. I still think for the money, you know, without jumping into a really expensive Gitzo or Really Right Stuff or FLM or any of those big name, really expensive tripods, if you want to stay at a medium budget, this is, to me personally, I mean, cost is relative, right? Or price is relative. So everybody has their own definition of price, but for me, this is definitely a middle of the road price, and I really appreciate, I think for that price, you're getting a lot of tripod. If it does come with a few quirks like the rubber, you know, but again, it's been a year or so. I've had zero issues with any of that. And overall, I think this tripod is going to last me for, you know, years to come, if not decade or more. And I'm really stoked about it. We'll see too how the rubber, it's the same rubber on the head here. We'll see how that holds up, but no issues so far over this last year. I got a lot of big trips coming up for the rest of this year, so, you know, stay tuned, and you guys will always see out in the field as it goes on how I'm doing with this thing and the kind of shots that it's getting me. All right, the lights are coming on, time lapse is wrapped up, so that's it. All right, hit that like button if you're still here. I super appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.